Good evening and welcome to the high-speed racing competition, the first round of this F2 season. And we are about to begin a new championship itself within the high-speed racing competition, this time with the F2 cars as opposed to the F1. Now we've got 11 drivers in the running for the first chapter of this contest, one-shot qualifying. The drivers will set a flying lap all at the same time, which will determine the feature race grid. 50% race distance, so it'll be a 15-lap feature race, including a mandatory pit stop. Then the top 8 finishers get reversed for the 50% race distance sprint race, which is expected to be 11 laps. So we're just waiting for the drivers to begin their quality laps. Here we go. Who shall we pick on? We'll stay with Jarno, actually, in the high-tech. Now, the drivers with TFL next to their names, Davey and Yotzel, who are in the MP Motorsport cars. They are expected to be quick. We'll stay with Jarno for this. As he comes through Cop's corner, and he's invalidated his lap time there by going a bit too quick. So Davey's on a he's on purple in sector 2. Comes over into club. Round in the last turn, goes over the line, and it's a 1 minute 36.1. And he will start on pole position by the looks of it. So pole position for the feature race, that's the first 4 championship points going to the MP driver. So Davey will start on pole ahead of Yotzel in second. Then it's LTB RSD in third. Axel in fourth for HW Race Lab. Jasper Puki is fifth. Romanitic in sixth. Den Dave is seventh, then ahead of Zhang. Jarno didn't set a time, neither did Larcy Boy or The Bear. Yeah, so the drivers starting 9th, 10th and 11th, exceeding track limits, and so didn't set a time. So we're just waiting for the drivers to decide on their race strategies. Just a reminder, it's a 50% race distance feature race. 15 laps in total, including a mandatory pit stop. Whether they start on the mediums or the soft compound for the first stint remains in question. No need to worry about fuel strategies. That's totally defaulted by the game itself. The drivers just need to decide which compound of tyres to start the race on. Just wait for the formation lap to begin, which is around about 10 seconds away. He will claim the first 25 points of this new championship. And we're underway, actually, and Davey's got off to a great start ahead of Yotzel in second place. It's RSD in third, Axel in fourth, Jasper Puki in fifth, and it looks as though that Axel's got ahead of the Prema driver, but Davey still leads ahead of Yotzel. Then it's RSD in third place ahead of Axel. Jasper Puki gets on the inside into what is the loop, but he's got poor traction now there, and he's behind Jarno in sixth position. So poor start there from Jasper Puki. Then it's Romanitic in 7th place for UNI Virtuosi. Then it's Zhong in 8th in the Campos. Then it's Dendave in 9th ahead of Larcy Boy and the Bear rounding out the top 11. I think Larcy Boy's had a moment somewhere. But Davey continues to lead ahead of his teammate Yotzel. We've got a battle going on there between Jarno in 5th, but just behind the HWA of Axel. These two will very much be going into combat, and someone's had a spin. It's one of the dams, and it's Larcy Boy who's had a moment. So bad start for him, rejoining at the back of the field. Now, will we need a safety car for that? We shouldn't do. He is out of harm's way. He's got going again, though, so we shouldn't need a safety car. And someone else has had a spin. It's the UNI of Romanitic. Or Romanitic, I should say. He's had a moment. And Axel's left the session. So that will be controlled by the AI, but we should hopefully see him back in the action very, very soon. Meanwhile, Jarno in 4th place for High Tech. And Romanitic has crashed out on the exit of Stoke Corn. As you can see, he is wrecked UNI Virtuosi, and a virtual safety car is deployed. Now, under the F2 rules, no one can make a pit stop or make their mandatory pit stop under a virtual safety car, but you can under a full safety car. It's early days at the moment anyway. So I can tell you the drivers who are starting on the alternate strategy. Everyone apart from race leader Davey and 4th place Jarno. So we should expect them to go quick in the opening stages before their tyres do go off the cliff. So Romanitic is the first driver to pull out of the feature race. Larcy Boy's got a drive-through penalty for exceeding the virtual safety car delta time. As the race gets back underway, you can see Jarno pulling alongside the Carlin of RSD to put himself up into 3rd position. Jesper Pukki in 5th ahead of Zhong, Dendave and Axel, who was back in the play, has left the session. And Larcy Boy going for another spin, and the Bear has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, exceeding track limits presumably. You can see a battle for 6th position between Zhong in the Campos and Dendave in the Dams. And the Dams driver goes for a spin, got on the power too early, and he's going to fall down the order, probably lose a couple of positions. But the MP Motorsport cars continuing to lead 1st and 2nd. Jarno in 3rd place, then it's RSD in the Red Bull. Jesper Pukki in 5th ahead of Zhong, Axel, the Bear, Dendave and Larcy Boy. Now the top 10 do get points, along with the driver who gets the 2 points for the fastest lap. Now, considering we only have 10 cars left in the race, anyone can get the fastest lap. So even if you are down at the back of the field, you might as well try and go for the fastest lap, particularly if you're Larcy Boy. Now, I wonder the soft compound runners will be thinking about when to make the switch onto the hard compound. Maybe next lap or on lap 5. Going to go to the battle for 2nd position. Jarno continuing to close in on Yotzel. He will have DRS coming onto the Hanger Straight. Exton Chapel. DRS will be wide open on the High Tech. No change of position there. There's no other battles going on at the moment. And Davey with a new fastest lap, a 1 minute 38.9. Continuing to extend the gap over himself and Yotzel as Dende gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I'll go to his time at the end of the feature race. Zhong in 6th place behind the Prema of Jesper Pukki. Now, considering that Jasper Pukki is out of DRS range of those ahead of him, Xiong will have a good chance to close the gap on him as they come onto the Wellington straight. Xiong will be too far back to have a go from there. Davey extending his lead to 6 seconds over Yoxel. Will it remain that way come the checkered flag? Now Larcy Boy will be taking his drive-through penalty very, very soon. He can cross over the line twice from when he's been given the penalty before he has to serve it. I don't think he's served it yet, but he will do very, very soon. In fact, I think he's got to take it at the end of this lap. We'll go back to the back of the third between Jarno and RSD. Jarno keeping his nose ahead of the Carlin. Jasper Pukki in 5th place, ahead of Xiong. Axel looking to recover after any connection issues. He's back in play now, though. So you can see there's a battle between the Bear and Dave, both with time penalties. Could determine who will start on reverse grid pole for the sprint race, which will come shortly after this. And there's an incident in Sector 3, that's the dams of Larcy Boy, who's gone for a spin, and he's lost him even more time. He's probably had damage as well. And Larcy Boy is now in the pits. That will probably be to serve his drive-through. Jarno continuing to close the gap on Yoxel in front of him. Xiong will have DRS behind Jasper Pukki. He won't be close enough to have a go into Stowe, but at least he can get a little bit closer to the Prema. Starting on the same tyres as the Prema one, and Larcy Boy's gone for another spin. This time down at what's known as Village. He's got going again now, and I think Axel's also had a moment as Davey comes into the pits to change onto the hard compound. That allows Yoxel to take over the lead for the time being at least. Davey will fall down to 9th. The F2 cars are quite a handful to get to grips with, but once you've got the hang of how the car turns into the corners, when to brake, when to upshift, when to downshift, you're pretty much fighting with the car all the time throughout the event. That's the unique challenge to the F2 drivers. Here's Xiong. He's looking to perhaps complete and move on Jasper Pukki. Dave looking to complete the move on Axel in the HWA. And the dams pull alongside. It's not quite close enough to have a go into Stowe, so he remains behind Axel. And someone's had a moment. That could well be Larcy Boy. He's gone for another spin down at Village. He's just desperate for this race to be done now, unless a safety car does decide to come out as Jarno pits to go onto the hards. A lap after Davey, who came in. He's on his way now. Davey will go back ahead of him. You can see Shong continuing to close in on Jasper Pukki in front of him. Coming into Brooklands. We're now on lap 7 out of 15. 8 laps to go after this. We've already had a virtual safety car due to Romanetic, who crashed his UNI Virtuosi out on lap 2, I believe, on the exit of Stowe Corner. Shong is going to have DRS coming on to the hanger straight. The Bear gets another 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits as well. And Dave looking to make some form of lunge on Axel. And Davey on his fresh set of hard tyres, going past the Campos of the Bear, goes up into 7th position. Now I can imagine that it'll be around about lap 9 or lap 10. Oh, and there's an incident. And then Dave and Axel have come together onto the start-finish straight. They get out of the way. They are ghosted to allow Davey and the Bear through. And I'm not sure what's happened between those two. And Davey's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And someone else has gone for a spin. It's Jean in the Campos, who is battling with Jasper Pukki for 3rd position. He's gone for a spin. And Jarno has also picked up a time penalty for multiple warnings. He's just about to go past Axel now into what is now coming into Aintree. DRS wide open on the high-tech. And he's going to go up into what's now 8th place on the road. 5 drivers have got time penalties to their name, which could play a role in this race. Yotzel continuing to lead over RSD. He'll be on the softer on better rubber by the time he comes into the pits. But he's got track position at the moment, although he's got the back marker of Larcy Boy in the way, and Yotzel decides to pit now to avoid getting caught up in that traffic. RSD will take over the lead. Jasper Pukki will go up into 2nd place. Where will Shong pit as well? Got a bit of snap of oversteer as he got the power down coming out of Stowe. Davey right behind, and Jasper Pukki's got a 3-second time penalty now. It's time penalties galore at the moment. And Yotzel has got the soft compound tyres on, but Davey's set the new fastest lap, a 1:38.9. So Davey takes back what is effectively the lead of the race. Yotzel just exiting the pits now, and he'll rejoin just ahead of Den Dave. He'll be on better rubber than the Dams driver. He'll need to try and stay ahead of him. And he does so on this occasion. That's crucial. Can he close in on his teammate in the battle for the feature race win here today? So RSD in the lead on the road now. Axel also in the pits to go on to the soft compound. And I would think that RSD is going to come in to the pits at the end of this lap. If not, it will be the end of the next one. Coming through Stowe Corner. And Larcy Boy also in the pits. And RSD coming to the pits. And Shong has had a spin coming out of Chapel. And he loses even more time. And he'll probably lose the position to his teammate, the Bear, who goes past him. And Yotzel, who is in the battle with his teammate for the race win, is going to be held up by the Campos. In fact, he's going to pull alongside him and goes through. Shong not fighting it out that much. He probably knows he's not in the battle with him. And the Prime of Jasper Pookie also in the pits for a set of the soft compound. So Davey takes back what's rightfully the race lead. But we've got to remember that Davey's got a time penalty, unlike his teammate Yosa, who goes round the outside of the campus of the Bear, coming into what is village. And he goes up into second position. So looking at the time penalties, 3 seconds is the difference between Davey and Yotsel. So Yotsel needs to gets to within 3 seconds of his teammate to take the feature race win. Dan Dave exiting on his soft compound in 8th place now. So the only drivers yet to pit are the Bear and Zhong. Now, considering they are in the same team, one will have to continue on for another lap whilst the other comes into the pits, really. They have to take that mandatory pit stop before the end of this race, otherwise it's a slam dunk disqualification. And and the campus in the barrier, it's Zhong, spins and spins whilst trying to get past his teammate. And that's a really bad error for him. He's had a nightmare of a race. That's the 3rd spin at least he's had in this one. And he loses even more time. And the Bear comes in now. I wonder if the Shong, who continues to have his own melodies on the hanger straight. Yosel sets the new fastest up at 1:38.7. Now, if he keeps that fast start, that's 2 championship points coming his way. And we've got the Carlin of RSD behind the high-tech of Yarno in the battle for 3rd position on the road. Yarno on the hard compound, RSD on the softs. He will prevail on the Wellington straight here. RSD will have DRS as they come into Brooklands. Axel with the fastest lap now. He's also on reverse grid pole as it stands in 8th position. Then Dave gets by the Bear up into 6th position. Stay with the battle for 3rd place between Yarno and RSD. And Yarno has the time penalty to his name, RSB doesn't. And RSD will want to get by the high-tech as soon as he can, really. Can he do so on the hanger straight? They're coming through now. DRS wide open. Pulls out of Yarno's slipstream, dives to the inside. That's the better line to take. And that's going to be 3rd place for the Carlin. So great move there from RSD. But can he keep it? Because Yarno is going to try and retaliate, but he has to accept defeat on this occasion. Someone's had a moment in sector 1. It looks like one of the Camposters has had a moment. It looks like Sean has spun again. His nightmare race continues, but at least he stays in the points. Now, if he was to remain in the race in case someone else ahead of him has a problem, he may be able to get onto reverse grid pole. So 4 laps to go. Davey leads by over 5 seconds. Yotsel in 2nd place. With a 3-second time penalty, Davey would still keep the race victory. RSD in 3rd place ahead of Yarno. Then it's Jasper Pookie in 5th. Den Dave 6th, who is in a battle with Axel, who does not have a time penalty to his name. So Axel would finish ahead of Den Dave as it stands. We'll stay with this battle. Den Dave getting by Axel, I think, on the previous lap. Although Axel will be back for more, as he will have DRS on the Wellington straight. It's probably too far back to have a go on this occasion as they come into Brooklands now. Axel looking to put Den Dave under pressure. Doesn't need to take too many risks on this occasion. He will know that Den Dave is carrying a time penalty, and someone's had a moment in sector 3. Not sure who it was. It's cleared away either way, actually. And Shong's got a 3-second time penalty now for exceeding track limits. Lassie Boy trying to be lapped. Well, RSD's trying to lap the dams of Larcy Boy. Should be moving out the way, really. Yoxel narrowing the gap now. 4.7 seconds between him and Davey with 3 laps left. Axel looking to get by Dave down the inside, replicating the move that RSD did on Yano on the previous lap, but he doesn't get by him. Dave getting good momentum coming through Stowe. And someone's had a moment at what looks like at Village or Farm. I think it's Village. But it was Shong, I think it was. And the dams of Larcy Boy has had a moment. Both drivers not having good races. And Axel is now ahead of Dave. So Axel in front of the dams on the road. Can he keep it? Come the checkered flag. So for a 15-lap race, drivers would need to complete 13 of those laps in order to be classified. That way they will get points. Driver with the fastest lap at the moment is Axel in the HWA, who's running in 6th place. Here's Davey, whose gap to Yoxel's narrowed down to 4.1 seconds with 2 laps remaining. So Yoxel just needs to close in by another second and a bit in order to inherit the race victory here come the checkered flag. This is the closest battle on track at the moment, and Axel's the latest to get a time penalty now, so the only drivers without time penalties are Yoxel and RSD, who are 2nd and 3rd. But here's Dave looking to get back the position from Axel. Doesn't do it on this occasion as they come through Stowe. Dave picking up another 3-second time penalty. That's bad news for him. Larcy Boy getting ahead now of Shong for 9th place, and Yano's got another 3-second time penalty to his name. Now someone else has had a spin. It's Dave. Dave, whilst battling with Axel, has gone for a spin on the exit of Club, and that's that battle over for 6th place. That's for Pookie, determined to get in front of Yano. Let's have a look at the time penalties, actually. But someone else has had a spin. Axel's now spun on the exit of the loop, and Dave takes advantage to go back up into 6th place. So back to what I was saying about the time penalties. Davy's got 3 seconds. Yano's got 6. Jesper Pookie's got 3. Dave's got 6. Axel's got 3. The Bear's got 6. Larcy Boy's got 9. And Shong's got 6. So looking at the pecking order at the moment, Davey would still take victory as he starts the final lap of the race. And I think Yosel's going to... don't think he's going to have enough time to close down on him, to be honest with you. So he's looking good for Davey unless he makes a mistake. Jesper Pookie would get ahead of Yano with the time penalties added, as would Axel on Dave. And Shong would move in front of Larcy Boy for 9th spot. And the driver with the fastest up is currently Yoxel now, actually. So Yoxel would get the 2 extra points. But Davey's done everything right in this race. He's been pretty much in control. I know he had the time penalty as well, which wouldn't have done him any favours, but he's kept calm, even with a virtual safety car at the beginning of the race due to Ramanitik's premature exit, crashing out on the exit of Stowe Corner. Here's Jesper Pookie, who will know that Yano's got a time penalty that's more severe than his. So all he needs to do is just stay within 3 seconds of him, come the checkered flag. Back to the race leader, Davey, who is coming through Stowe Corner now for the last time. And he's going to open his F2 account with the 25 points with the feature race win. Coming through Club Corner and onto the Hamilton straight for the last time. Davey takes the feature race win at Silverstone. 25 points goes to him. Yotsel comes home in second place and with the fastest lap points. RSD will be third for Carlin. Brilliant effort from him. No time penalty to his name as well. Jasper Pukki will lose fourth position, or just got ahead actually of Jarno on the last lap, so he keeps on in fourth place. Jarno is fifth. Dave will be down to seventh as it stands because Axel is within 3 seconds of him. If you were to take the time penalties into account, we'll stay with this battle though, in case Dave does all of a sudden pull out a 3-second gap on Axel. But he won't have enough time to do that. So Axel will be in 6th position. Dave will be 7th. The Bear will come home in 8th and on reverse grid pole. Larcy Boy has come home in 9th on the letdown, as has Shong taken the final points in 10th position. So it's a 1-2 finish for MP Motorsport. Good start to the season for them. Davey coming out on top from pole position. And it's the best possible start really for him. I know the fastest lap point's gone to his teammate, but he's got a great result out of what's been a brilliant, dominant drive from Davey. And there you go. Punch in the air. And he celebrates with his teammate Yoxel and RSD in the Carlin on the podium with him. That's not all the action for tonight. We still have a sprint race that will be coming very, very shortly. So a rundown on the feature race result hit at the Silverstone track. Davey wins by 2.5 seconds over Yoxel. RSD is in 3rd place ahead of Jasper Pukki. Jarno was 5th ahead of Axel. Then it's Dave in 7th. The Bear coming home in 8th and on reverse grid pole. Larcy Boy was 9th. Shong taking the final point in 10th place. Yoxel getting the 2 points for the fastest lap. Ramatic was the only driver to not finish the race. So I'm just looking through if there's any major penalties on here. Doesn't seem to be. The drivers behaved relatively well in that one. I know there was a few drivers that had their own melodies with spins and stuff like that, but nothing too major. So David will be happy with that result, getting the points for qualifying on pole, and the feature race win, taking his tally to 29 points. Yoxel with 20 for MP Motorsport, 49 points overall, and we've still got a sprint race to come as well. With it being a 50% sprint race in terms of the race distance, it's an 11-lap event. No mandatory pit stop is involved, so it's just a light to flag sprint for the drivers. So the top 8 results of the feature race get reversed, which means that the 8th place finisher, which is the Bear, starting in front of Dave, then it's Axel, Jarno in 5th, Jasper Pukki in 5th, 6th will be RSD, 7th is Yoxel, 8th is the race winner of the feature race, Davey, 9th on the grid will be Larcy Boy, Shong in 10th, and the 5 lights are coming on, and we're underway for the sprint race. Lights out, and away we go, and it's a blatant jump start there from Yoxel, who will most certainly be taking a drive through penalty at the end of this lap, but he leads through the first turn ahead of the Bear. Then it's Dave, Jarno, Axel, Jasper Pukki, who's determined to make up ground, and we've got a spinner at the back, and it's Shong, who's had another shunt into the barrier, and he's got a lot of work to do, and he's pulled out of the session as well. Someone else has gone for a spin. It's Axel in the HWA who's gone for a spin, and the dams of Larcy Boy, who has gone off the circuit, and Ramatic has spun as well. It's almost like the drivers don't know when to get on the power of this Silverstone circuit. So Yoxel leads ahead of Dave in 2nd place. It's Jasper Pukki, RSD down the inside of Davey to take 4th position. Then it's the Bear in 6th position ahead of Jarno, Larcy Boy in 8th, Ramatic in 9th, and Axel rounding out the top 10. And we've got another spin. Look, Yoxel goes for a spin on the exit of Cops, and he's going to rejoin facing back to front, and Dende takes over the lead. Then it's Jasper Pukki in second. RSD goes up to the third ahead of Davey, the Bear, Jarno in sixth. Yoxel dropping down to seventh. Larcy Boy, Axel and Ramnitic. It's all kicking off here, and we're less than a lap of the way through this one. Davey looking to get in front of RSD. The Bear losing the position to Jarno. Yoxel will be taking his drive-through penalty for a blatant jump start. There was no doubt about it. In fact, he's gone across the runoff area and he's crashed into the high-tech. Now, surely that is not allowed in that. That was totally unnecessary there. I don't know what on earth Yoxel was thinking. He was playing around there, and yeah, the virtual safety car's deployed. He's out of the race. He's taking Jarno with him, but I'm sure there's going to be major repercussions post-race, because that was a needless manoeuvre there from Yoxel. That was a blatant, stupid driving from him. Taking Jarno out of the race there. And the virtual safety car is deployed. Dave leads ahead of Jasper Pukki. Then it's RSD, Davey in fourth, the Bear in fifth, Larcy Boy, Axel and Ramatic in eighth. Well, what a chaotic there. And that's just a stupid, reckless behaviour, as you can expect to see on F1 2020, or in fact any sim racing league. Now, in terms of the etiquette, there's just no form of etiquette right there. It's just Yoxel being utter stupid, if I'm honest with you. The virtual safety car about to come to an end, and we're back to green flag racing, and Axel's got a drive-through penalty to his name, as is Larcy Boy and Ramatic, I believe, as well. Trying to see if they've got... yeah, they do. Larcy Boy, Axel and Ramnitic have got drive-throughs that they have to take, so it's almost like the drivers don't know when to follow the delta, although they were just too eager to get up to speed before the virtual safety car actually ended. And David getting a wheel onto the grass there, coming through Stowe Corner, remains behind the Carlin of RSD. You can see a move there from Larcy Boy going around the outside of Axel. Axel goes for a spin into the barrier and he's out. Crashed has Axel. Ramatic goes into the pits to serve his drive-through. And that's another driver out of the race. And we're only on lap 3. Virtual safety car deployed. And Dave will be rubbing his hands through all this chaos, because there's only 7 cars left in this one. But he leads ahead of Jasper Pukki, RSD, Davey, who still remains in touch. The Bear is in 5th position. Larcy Boy in 6th, who needs to take his drive-through. Ramatic exiting the pits after serving his drive-through. And the race should get back underway again very, very shortly, which it does now. So DRS enabled, and Davey getting the jump on RSD on the restart to put his MP up into 3rd position. Now I can imagine the battle for the lead between these 4 could well go right to the very end here. Just need to keep it clean, guys. We've already lost 4 drivers in this race. We don't need any more dropping out of this. Now I wonder what will happen to Yoxel post-race. Whether he'll keep his points from the feature race, because I'm sure there is a rule where if you have caused a collision, you can be disqualified, not just from this race, but in the other race in the same round as this one. But back to the racing. Davey putting the Prema of Jasper Pukki under pressure in the battle for 2nd position. Can Davey finish the Silverstone round with both the feature and sprint race victories? As they come through the loop. And Larcy Boy getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Now he still needs to take that drive-through, remember, which will drop him behind Ramatic. The drivers coming through Loffield and Woodcote. Yes, Pookie behind the dams of Dendave. And we've got the MP of Davy following suit. And RSD looking to take advantage in case any of these do fall over themselves. Lassie Boy in the battle with the Bear for 5th position. We've got a battle for the lead here as Jasper Pookie with DRS. He's going to pull alongside Dendave as they come into Stowe Corner. Round the outside he goes. Can he do the switchback on the dams? Coming out of there. Davy's going to be side by side with the Prema. Can he get the job done as well? I think he's done it, you know. He wants to go round the outside of the dams of Dendave as well, but he's got 2nd position anyway. So Davy goes up into 2nd place, and the dams of Dendave spins, coming onto the Hamilton Straight, and he's crossed into the barrier and he's out. Dendave has crossed out, as coming onto the Hamilton Straight, the 5th driver to leave this race now. So we're just down to 6 runners, and we've got a full safety car this time. So it's incredible how this race has panned out so far. Chaotic is probably the best description as Larsiby. Now, did he enter the pit lane to take his drive-through before the safety car was deployed? If he did so, he might be allowed to get away with it. Because if he came through the pits, or started to go through the pits, before the safety car was deployed, then that drive-through penalty should still be valid. He should be still allowed to take it. We'll find out very, very shortly. But Dendave lost the car coming out of club, got too much wheel spin whilst trying to defend from Davy behind, crashed into the barrier, and that was the end of his race there. So 5 drivers are out, 6 are remaining. So Davy leads ahead of Jasper Pookie. RSD's in 3rd position, the Bear is in 4th, Larsie Boy 5th, who has a time penalty to his name, and Ramatik has just come back out onto the circuit on a set of the soft compound. So Larsie Boy's got a time penalty of 3 seconds. Let's see who's got the fastest lap so far. It's Davy who's got the 2 points for the fastest lap at the moment as it stands. We are on lap 5 out of 11. Now I believe there is a time limit for this race. Now, are there any drivers? In fact, Jasper Pookie and RSD are coming into the pits to go onto a set of the soft compound. So will Davy be ruining that decision not to be coming in? No, he will be picked up by the safety car. Jasper Pookie and RSC will go onto a set of the soft compound. The Bear decides to stay out on his hards. Larsiboy and Ramnatic will catch up to the rest of the guys. Davy's still not picked up by the safety car yet. He is picked up now. The Bear goes up into 2nd place. Now, will Davy choose to pit at the end of the start to go onto the set of the soft compound? Now, how long will the safety car remain out for? If the safety car does not come in at the end of the start, does Davy decide to pit? No overtaking is allowed behind the safety car, which will allow the likes of Larsie and Ramnatic to catch up. Ramnatic's got a great opportunity to win this, as is Jasper Pookie and RSD. They're coming around to complete Sector 2 now. And the safety car will remain out for another lap. And Davy will be ever so desperate to get into the pit lane. And he decides to stay out. thinks it's not a good idea to do that. Now will Larcy Boy pit as well? No, he decides to stay out. He thinks it's better off for him to do that. We've got 5 laps to go here at the moment. We've already had 2 virtual safety cars and now a full safety car, which will make for an interesting finale to this sprint race and what's been a very chaotic one for the first round of this F2 Championship in the high-speed racing competition. Davey in position to take the race victory, although Yasupuki, RSD and Ramatic will be on fresher tyres. They will be on better tyres at this stage. So Davey leads ahead of the Bear. Yasupuki, RSD, Larcy Boy and Ramatic will catch up to the back of the queue before the safety car does come in. I think it will come in at the end of this lap. We'll find out very, very shortly. Now, will the safety car come in at the end of this lap? And the answer is yes. So the safety car will be pitting at the end of this lap. Davey will dictate the pace. He effectively becomes the safety car. No one can pass him until they cross the start-finish line. When will he pole clear? And Davey decides he may just wait until they get to... Oh, and someone spun round. That's Ramatic who spun round. He's reset to the track. Now, I'm not sure if he'll be able to get away with that. Now, I know we're under safety car conditions, but you're not supposed to reset your car back onto the racetrack, as you can get a penalty or disqualification for it. But we're back on the way now anyway, as Jesper Pukki tries to get through on the Bear ahead of him, and Larcy Boy's gone for a spin at the back. And Jesper Pukki up into second place. RSD goes up into third now. Ramatic has caught up to the Bear. He's in 5th position. Larcy Boy with that time penalty is in 6th place. I think Ramatic's going to get by the Bear to go up into 4th position. But Davey still out in front. But for how long? Because Jesper Pukki, RSD and Ramatic will be on much fresher tyres than he will be. Better tyres, I should say. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. It's not until lap 10 the DRS will be enabled, I should say. And the safety car deployed. The safety car is deployed. Now, what's that for? Is that for debris on the track? It's an interesting one. But the safety car is out again. So we've had 2 virtual safety cars, and now the second full safety car, and we haven't even completed lap 8. Extraordinary stuff. Now, if you're Larcy Boy, you may as well come into the pits and get a set of the soft compound on. Does he decide to do that? He does. It's a no-brainer. So the field will be picked up by the safety car once again. And Larsy does come in to also get the front wing changed. Soft tyres going on the dams. Larsy will get a points finish out of this, no matter what happens. Is he going to have enough time to catch up to the field before the safety car comes back in? Now, I wonder if this race will be ended on time, or whether we'll get the 11 laps in. I believe for a 50% F2 distance sprint race, it's 22.5 minutes. But when the countdown, when the clock reaches 0, unless the race leader is on his final lap, they do another lap, and then it's the checkered flag. The safety car is coming in off just one lap, so Davey, like he did so before, will dictate the pace. Larsy is a long way behind this bunch, but at least he can try and go for the fastest lap. He may as well. So we've just got 2 laps to go in this race now. There's no DRS, as we have only got 2 laps to go in this one. So it's pretty much just pure driver ability and speed between now and the checkered flag. When does Davey pull clear of these guys? He goes now. So Davey pulls clear ahead of Jasper Pukki. But remember, Jasper Pukki is on better tyres than Davey, as is RSD and Ramnatic. As they come through the village and onto the loop. Can Jasper Pukki find a way past the MP Motorsport driver? Now Larsy is catching up to these guys. He's just going through the loop now in 6th position. He'll be on much better tyres than, well, he will be on better tyres than these guys. Jasper Pukki looking to make amends on Davey in front of him in the battle for the race victory. This is very intense ending to the race. It's a very chaotic one as well. Now, he won't have the benefit of DRS on this occasion, so he'll have to try and pass him without it, which will play into Davey's hands a lot. The drivers are now beginning to start the last lap of this sprint race. Davey crossing the line. And we are now on the last lap, and Davey has got the fastest lap points at the moment. I think Larsy may take that away from him, actually, given his pace. Not quite so. But we are on the last lap, so Larsy may have an opportunity to get the fastest lap points. He's coming up behind the Bear, he'll be on worn hards at this stage. As they come through Brooklands for the last time, Davey still leads ahead of Jasper Pukki and RSD. This is great defensive driving from Davey. We were conscious of whether he was going to be able to keep that lead, but then the safety car came to his rescue again, and he was able to keep hold of where he is at the moment. Coming through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel for the last time now. I think he's safe from these guys, but there's a battle for second between Jasper Pukki and RSD. Larsy gets by the Bear, but he's got that 3-second time penalty, so he probably won't keep that 5th place. But we've got RSD, who may get The move done here on Jasper Pukki for second. Goes round the outside into Stowe. Can RSD get into second place? He goes over the curbs. But Jasper Pukki just keeps his nose ahead of the Carlin. But here's Davey. Is going to complete a clean sweep here at Silverstone. Feature race victory earlier on, and now the sprint race victory. Davey wins for the second time at Silverstone. It's the sprint race victory for the MP driver, and getting the fastest lap of the race. Jasper Pukki comes home in second. RSD in third, ahead of Ramnatic in the UNI Virtuosi in fourth place. The Bear comes home in fifth, and Larsy Boy picks up sixth place in the Dams. Brilliant stuff. A chaotic race, but Davey completes a perfect evening with the feature and sprint race victories to cement his position at the top of the drivers' standings after the first round of this F2 championship in the high-speed racing competition. Brilliant stuff. And what a brilliant end to the race. It was a shame we had that incident between Yoxel and Jarno earlier on, where Yoxel blatantly just drove into the side of him. That will most definitely be investigated by the stewards post-race. Davey will be happy to see himself taking victory and pull away from the rest going into the next round of the championship. So rundown on the sprint race result. Davey wins and getting the fastest lap points, I believe. Jasper Pukki in second, ahead of RSD. Then it's Ramnatic in fourth, ahead of the Bear in fifth. Larsy Boy, the last of the finishes, in sixth place. Den Dave didn't finish the race, neither did Axel. Yoxel crashed out after colliding with Jarno, and Sean retired on the opening lap. So the sprint race fastest lap went to Davey as well. Excellent result for him. So in regards to the championship, Davey leads by 21 points going into the next round of the championship. Looking to see what the calendar says. Just bear with me one moment. So the calendar as to where they'll be racing next will be at Budapest next week on Wednesday, 8 o'clock British summer time. Can Davey continue his good form and come out on top and extend his lead in the Drivers' Championship? That's all for today, and we'll look forward to seeing the drivers battle it out once again in these F2 cars very soon. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the high-speed racing competition returns.